From middle school to high school, first grade to college, members of academic communities across the United States walked out and spoke up today against budget cuts and tuition hikes that have plagued public education systems nationwide. In Millbrae, California, middle schoolers lined the drive in front of their building, protesting cuts the state has made in education. And in Irvine, students rallied against the spike in the cost of tuition. Also in Santa Cruz, university officials closed the campus before the protests had a chance to erupt. Let's take a closer look now at today's day of action. RT's Marina Portnaya is live at our studio in New York, where the largest public school system in the country could potentially become clogged by mounting anger. We've seen anger resonating from all across the country. Talk about what kind of impact this is having in New York City.
As you mentioned, Christine, the largest public school system in the country, nearly 1 million students, and the anger has been building in New York City for some time. It was announced in early January that 20 high schools would be shut down and closing. Now, education officials said that it's because of low graduation rates and lots of dropout rates, but advocates for these students, families, and the students themselves say that they are not failing. It is the system that is failing them. You have to go into some of these classrooms and see that there could be more than 40 students shoved into a room with one teacher. It's a large system, a public school system here. Now all of those students will have to transfer to other schools, and this is of course in a city where it takes only 50% of the students graduate in 4 years. The families, the students, faculty, they're all furious because a lot of people could be losing their jobs, teachers and others that have been working at those 20 public high schools. Now, of course, as you spoke about, this is not just a problem and a mounting anger that is restricted to New York City. We have seen the anger build up all around the country, and it has been stressed and underscored by all elected officials throughout the nation that the education of our future generation is so important. Innovation is so important, but yet we see that schools are being shut down, teachers are losing their jobs, and some students, many students, feel so disenchanted.
Marina, you talk about these 20 high schools closing down, but what about the burden facing college students in New York?
Well, the burden is not any less for college students because the Governor David Paterson of New York State recently announced that he wanted the budget cut for city and state public schools by $50 million for city colleges, $100 million for state universities. I should mention $400 million for New York City schools. And due to that, we've seen tuition hikes for all of these city and state schools in New York, and this has infuriated these students, these young adults that are trying to go to school, trying to make ends meet, trying to pay their tuition, and they can't. And while their tuition is going up because of these budget hikes, the tuition is going up because of the budget cuts. The services are decreasing, and we see these students pay an average of $7,000 a year. These prices are going up. Now city and state universities will not be restricted in terms of how they want to hike up their tuition. And we should also note that on average in 2008, every college graduate was graduating with approximately $23,000 in debt. And with this economy, leaving your university with that much debt and with so little jobs out there, it's not something that's very pleasant. So New York City and state students going to universities and colleges are very angry at what's taking place.
Marina, they're walking out and they're speaking out, but what specifically are these demonstrators demanding here?
They're walking out, they're speaking out loudly, but what they're demanding overall in a nutshell is no more tuition hikes, a tuition freeze, no more budget cuts. They don't want their services to be cut. And most importantly, what these students, I think, in this state, in New York and around the country want is fair representation. They want to be a part of the decisions that are being made at the schools that they are paying thousands of dollars to, tens of thousands of dollars to. They want their voices to be heard.
All right, Marina Portnaya joining us live from New York, where they saw quite a few people leaving school today to